Then let's start it. Alright guys, so let's try this one more time. I'm alone in the commentary booth today, so I'll do a quick check for jump starts as soon as the gate drops. And then we will get into the action for our first moto. Got some really popular names here in the D class, so a part of preseason is helping us make sure that riders are categorized correctly and where they belong. Riders are categorized according to their lap times at the Ironman preseason practice qualifying session that was held this past weekend. So Van Meel on the FXR Racing Suzuki, Connor on the McMonster Kawasaki, Rye on the CC Suzuki. There's a couple of the names here in the D class who might give us a good show. And also to mention Dylan Frisch. So, a couple fan favorites in here, guys. Let's get a quick check for jump starts. Gate is down, no jump starts. So here we go, guys. Moto number 1 for our D-Class race. It looks like J20 on the Factory Goon Kawasaki is going to get a quick hole shot early and maybe try to check out, but he's got Rye on the CC Suzuki coming in right behind him. A lot of riders lined up here, guys. You all are familiar with Lommel, and you know how much it can bite. J20 had a good start early, but he ends up going down in that corner. So our current race leader is Rye on the CC Suzuki, with Sketchy and Connor following up in second and third. But of course, this is early in the moto, so anything can happen. Just look at this pain train here, guys. So many riders lined up. Uh-oh, Van Meel having some trouble in the rollers. And Zach with the Woody Graphics Racing team getting a little bit of a late start. So, real quick, let's take it down to our front runners here. Cool. All right, guys. So let's watch here as Connor tries to make a run for the lead early in the moto and make a pass on Rye. Trying to get my footing here. So Big Rick is currently rounding out our top 5 with Charlie on the Moto Factory Yamaha sitting in 4th. And Sketchy on the Monster Adidas is still in 2nd. Oh, 3rd, sorry. And Connor bumps into Rye, pushes them both off the track, and they almost both go down. Rye's the one who pays the price for that mistake. Connor gets it back up onto the track a little bit quicker than Rye does, so he's able to manage a forced first position pass on Sketchy. So now we have a new race leader here, guys. Connor on the McMonster Kawasaki, but Sketchy and Charlie are still extremely close and in attack position. So Connor's going to have to calm himself after that mistake and make sure that he keeps it up on 2 wheels, because he's got a lot of riders here who are trying to get the best of him early in the lead and check out here at Lommel. Sketchy not able to keep it inside of that inside line, so he goes out. So Charlie makes up a couple bike links, and it looks like Charlie's going to try to make the pass into second right now. Bar to bar as we come back across the start straight. This section's really rough, guys. No, I don't care about sticky keys. Really rough. So Big Rick makes the pass beyond Charlie and has now moved up into 3rd. So Rye, with that accident back there between himself and Connor, has pushed him back to 5th. El Astronomer on the Factory Goon Suzuki currently sits in 6th place. I had a chance to talk to El Astronomer earlier today. He was not happy with the choice to race Lommel. He told me that he really didn't feel like it was going to be his best track, and he thought that the odds were going to be stacked against him with the competitiveness of the D class. But I told him, man, look, just get your time in, practice your laps, familiarize yourself, and when it comes race time, keep it up on 2 wheels. And he is currently sitting in about 6th place, so it could pay off. So Van Meel had a really bad run we saw earlier as he was near second to last, or in second to last in the rollers just after the hole shot, and he has now moved up into 4th place position. So with timing and scoring having officially updated, we can see that Connor is in 1st, Sketchy is in 2nd, or sorry, Big Rick is now in second, has moved past Sketchy. Charlie in fourth, and El Astronomer has moved up into fifth. Man, what a good ride. El Astronomer's got to be proud of this one. Can he keep it up on two wheels, though, and continue to push his way through the pack as he makes his way up to Charlie? Starts to get into a collision with him and maybe go down, but he ends up keeping it down. He keeps the front wheel planted and maintains his composure and his momentum here. But Van Mel is on a charge, goes down after the tabletop. Oh, no. So where are we here? Why is the auto cam not working? So Connor still has a little bit of a lead on Rick here, but not comfortable enough to consider checked out, and he still has to stay on his toes. On the SB Designs Honda, Rick is trying to hunt down Connor and make a run for the lead here. So we currently have a three-way battle for third place between Sketchy, El Astronomer, and Charlie on the Moto Factory Yamaha. El Astronomer's already going in for the kill, man. He makes the pass around the outside on Sketchy and has now moved up into third place. This is impressive riding from El Astronomer. He didn't have a whole lot of chances to compete in Backyard MX Season 1. Oh no, he goes off the track. El Astronomer, you gotta get back on the track, buddy. Charlie is in fourth place, or sorry, Sketchy in fourth place and Charlie in fifth. So let's see if El Astronomer gets any cuts for having pushed off the track there. No cuts, so not sure what to make of it, but clearly sometimes you're gonna go off the track. You just gotta re-enter as quickly as you can. But Rick's got a good lead on El Astronomer. That's a pretty long lane that they're in. So Rick's got a comfortable gap between himself and third place. Is he pushing hard enough to catch up to Connor is the question. At the end of last lap, timing and scoring indicates a 7-second gap between those two riders. And El Astronomer still got his work cut out for him, as he has got to keep it consistent if he does not want to lose positions to these two guys here. So here comes Rye on the CC Suzuki with Van Mel in tow. Very close. Anything can happen between these two riders. Oh, I thought they got into it. Maybe they did. Van Mel ends up going down after that scrub jump. He sends it a little too far downhill, and Sketchy goes down in the following corner. So now Rye has moved up into the fifth place position. Brock Colvin going down just on the edge of your screen there. You can kind of hear this crowd cheer when these riders pass through this area, and especially when somebody goes down. So Connor still has a comfortable lead. He's starting to check out on Rick. El Astronomer still in third. So not much of an upset here in terms of what's happening on board with these riders who are in a battle for the third and fourth place position. But let's go on board with Rye for just a second and watch as he tries to really put in the work and catch up to these guys. Actually, let's check in with Charlie, who might be trying to make a pass on El Astronomer here any moment. Both of these riders opt to go inside. I think El Astronomer's trying to protect his race line. Van Mel not letting that crash last lap or earlier this lap get the best of him. He doubles into the roller section, tries to make a pass on Rye, is able to take the inside, but can he make it stick? He tries to go for the outside and cut the line off and ends up taking them both out. If Stone Rider was moderating this series, he'd be giving Van Mel a warning right now, that's for sure. Uh-oh, Van Mel ends up going down again, so he gives his position up to Dalton Witter, who has now moved up into fifth place, maybe sixth. So looking at timing and scoring here, oh, Dalton gets into it with Rye. Both of them managed to keep it clean, but it might be LBG with the KD Racing team who is going to take over the position and capitalize on the mistake. A lot of new faces for Backyard MX Season 2, guys. The series really blew up, so as we continue to do our preseason and regular season events, I'm hoping to familiarize myself with some of these riders. So let's check in real quick with our race leader, Connor, who has either been caught by Rick or has made a mistake and Rick has capitalized on, because the gap has shrunk drastically. So we'll come back to that battle in just a moment. Dalton goes down. LBG is able to take that pass away. Van Mel not close enough to capitalize and ends up looping it out himself. So a couple riders we've seen in the front of the pack all race long. Sketchy and Rye go down. Man, Rye's going to have some words with Van Mel in the pits after this moto. That's for sure. Mountain Drew on the OPR Kawasaki, just trying to keep it up on two wheels and clean as they come through the pack here. According to timing and scoring, he was sitting in 14th at the end of last lap, but a couple of riders that were ahead of him are currently behind him, so we'll have to check in and see exactly what happened at the end of that race, or at the end of the last lap. So we mentioned Paradox, our Factory Goon Honda rider and the winner of Backyard MX C class in Season 1. So the way that we did qualifying for Season 2 was a lot different than Season 1, so riders were kind of positioned differently. So certainly enough to be proud of the C-Class championship, but it had no impact on the positioning in this series. So Paradox is currently representing Factory Goon in the D-Class and trying to catch Mountain Drew and make a pass on him, which it looks like Murray was able to successfully do just recently. So let's go back up here and check on what's happening between Van Mel and Sketchy. Van Mel's pretty good in those rollers. He's able to make passes, but not good at keeping it out of other riders' territory. So Van Mel goes down with Sketchy there just before the finish line. El Astronomer, man, this might be the ride of his career. This is why you have to put in the time. This is why you have to put in the practice, and this is why you can't let nerves get the best of you. He was to the point earlier where he didn't want to compete. He didn't want to ride in this race because he said, I hate this track. I haven't had enough practice on it. You know, it's tough. He knew it was preseason, so I think he was kind of the mindset of let's just skip it and maybe wait for the regular season. But aside from a commentator's curse, which I apologize for, El Astronomer, he has clearly put it in race mode, clicked off the gears, got into the flow state, and he is not letting his earlier anxiety get the best of him as he sits in third place and tries to hold off Charlie. Somehow Connor went down and Rick has caught him. So there was a 7-second gap at the end of the last lap, and now we have a new race leader, guys. Big Rick on the SB Designs, a fellow Twitch streamer, so shout out to Big Rick and the work that he's doing to kind of represent this community. He is now in the front, so it's Connor on the McMonster Kawasaki who has fallen back into second. Oh no, and Rick makes a mistake in that corner, so now Connor capitalizes it and takes his lead back. Guys, there's only a little over 3 minutes left before we start seeing the final laps of this moto, so that's about another lap and a half before the timing ends. So just as Connor is about to cross this finish line with 3 minutes left, we probably got maybe 4 laps left in this moto, so we'll see. El Astronomer still sitting in third, Charlie lurking in fourth, Dalton Witter has moved up into fifth, LBG 140, so Rye has fallen a little bit back behind, and here we go again, bar to bar with Van Mel. We've seen this over and over in this moto. The question is, these two riders have similar speed and capability to battle together, but can they keep it in their own lines is the question. Listen, I'm not saying anything, guys. You see. So Rye and Van Mel still battling here as we come through the rollers. Taking a look back behind, we see Murray on Power Dream and J20 with the Factory Goon Kawasaki. Mountain Drew is still lurking in the background, so let's take on board with Van Mel for just a moment and try to get a good idea for just how fast these guys are going. Of course, they are rocking the 6D helmets, which have horrible onboard cameras. Rye jumps on the inside there, takes that line away from Van. Van tries to repay the favor and successfully does it. So these two guys are going at it, man. They are battling it out, stealing lines from one another, making the aggressive passes. Fortunately for Van Mel, that one paid off, but Rye got the unfortunate, paid the unfortunate price and went down. So, yeah, all race long, no friendships made between these two guys, that's for sure. So back on board with our race leader, Connor, and Rick still lurking in the back. So Connor's still got to keep it up on two wheels. He's not far enough ahead to consider this one in the bag yet. So Charlie has fallen back, it would seem. giving up a few positions to LBG and Dalton Witter. This is D class, Aiden, FYI. Uh-oh, Charlie's ghost riding. So Rye has caught up to Murray on Power Dream and is trying to make a pass here late in the moto. Murray goes down. Rye is able to get that pass. So if Rye's got one goal in mind, it's going to be catching Van Meel and sticking it to him with just a couple laps left in this moto. Certainly want to see clean racing, guys. So preseason and the events that occur here will help us to better build out our rule book for the regular season. So certainly don't think that, you know, stuffing your fellow rider in a corner is okay, but at the same time, this is motocross. Rubbing is racing, so we have to, you know, you've got to get by somehow, but there are certain situations which are uncalled for, and cleaner passes could have been made. So we'll see. We'll see what that the turnout is for the rules on aggressive riding. But for right now, we'll just stick to the racing here. So 3 laps to go, as Connor is about a quarter of a lap away from getting that the second lap to go, or 2 laps to go marker rather, 2-lap board. And Rick is still lurking, man. So the question is, can Rick do it? Let's take a look at what Rick's lap times are. So his best lap is a 2:12. Last lap was a 2:19. Connor's was a 2:11, but his last lap was a 2:19. So these guys are running pretty tight to each other in terms of their speed. So it's going to be upon Rick to click off some new gears and catch Connor, or hope that Connor bobbles and makes a little bit of a mistake, because if so, Rick's going to be there to capitalize. So Connor is dropping, his last lap was a 2:18. Rick's last lap is a 2:19. El Astronomer with a 2:20. Dalton with his best as a 2:06, but his last as a 2:29. And Charlie kind of in the middle of all of those riders with a 2:14. So clearly Van Mel has caught Charlie here, so let's take a look. Before I commit to this, though, I do want to double check and see where we are with Big Rick and Connor. Okay, so Van crosses the finish line in 7th, but I believe it is Charlie who has cuts and has fallen behind LGB in the scoring, because LGB is ahead of him. So here in just a second, off in the distance, we should see Connor go by in the background. Just go on board. Yep, there he is, and here is Rick. So 2 laps left to go. Can Rick catch him? So Charlie's trying to gun down LBG as quickly as he can, goes down after that roller, so that gives Van Mel the pass. So racing was pretty tight early in the moto. It took until the last 2 laps for things to really start spreading out. Snowboard on the NSP Kawasaki has moved his way up past Mountain Drew. Sketchy, who had an early race not lead, but he was in the top 3, has fallen back pretty far. Dylan Frisch on the Vet MX Honda currently sits in about 15th after not having raced for a while. So Dylan's been deployed over in Japan for the military, was finally able to come home for a little while, so he is back home in the States, looking forward to Backyard MX Season 2, but not before he spent a little bit of time with his family and went and bought himself a new YZF. So he's been riding and living the good life. So he's out here just kind of cruising, putting some laps down on Lommel. But for Backyard MX Season 2's official season, I suspect we will see Dylan Frisch up front in the pack, warmed up and ready to go like we did all Season 1. So Van Mill has lost the position to Charlie after Charlie crashed. So either Van Mill went down or Charlie caught up, and now they are bar to bar. Is Van Mill going to try to steal the inside away? We will see, guys. There is one lap left. Let's take a look, though, between Connor and Big Rick. The timing had cut down to just about 3 seconds, so Van Mill goes down with Charlie after the finish line. So let's take it down here on board with Big Rick for just a moment as we watch as he tries to hunt down Connor with about a half a lap left here in D-Class Moto 1. And Connor goes down! Connor goes down after that jump, and Big Rick takes the lead. Gives him the wave and says, sayonara. Let's go, baby. So Big Rick has taken the lead on the last lap here. Can Connor catch him? We know how loud and how fast these McMonster Kawasaki's can bark. The question is, can Connor utilize the equipment that he is sitting on to catch Rick with just about a third of a lap left here at Lommel? And it looks like he is doing it. They are practically bar to bar as Connor makes a little bit of time on Big Rick through that section. So here we go, crossing the start straight, coming into one of the roughest corners that there is, and Big Rick pays the price. He goes down, not able to keep it up. So Connor makes the pass back into the lead. 3 corners left here at Lommel. Oh no, Connor goes down as well. Does this give Big Rick the time that he needs to catch up? I don't know, we'll see. Connor's got to keep it clean. Unable to get the good drive into that first roller double, whereas Rick does. It's going to take a miracle for Rick here to be able to catch Connor in this last start straight, or the last stretch before the finish. So officially, guys, Connor takes your race win here with Big Rick in second, 1.4 seconds back, and El Astronomer almost had the pass for second right there at the very end. So close. But it's going to be LBG 140 on the KD Racing team, who takes our 4th place position. And Dalton Witter, who rounds out our top 5. So actually LGB's cuts pushed him back into 5th. So Connor on the McMonster Kawasaki, Big Rick, El Astronomer, Dalton, and LGB are your top 5 riders here in Moto number 1. Couple of last lap battles here. Let's see if Dylan can catch up to Snowboard with just a few corners left to go. Snowboard's got to get a good drive into these rollers. Can he do it? It looks like yes. Snowboard rocking that Alpine Stars Aerial and Prospect Designs collaboration helmet. That thing is clean. One of my favorites. All right, guys, so 10-minute break between motos. Let's make sure all of our riders are, in fact, off of the track before we reset this thing into practice. Looks like our final rider coming around the corner, that's El Astronomer, and he has already finished, so let me get a double check. All right, guys, we're going to capture these results. This is D-Class Moto 1, and then we will take it back to practice here and have ourselves a 10-minute recess.